Bob Albrecht. Coordinating producer is Greg Bowman. Our executive producer is John Toohey. Remote facilities were provided by Trio Video of Chicago. Once again, the winner is the South. This proceeding has been an exclusive presentation of SportsChannel.
Their great one meets our great one as the Blackhawks try to win one. This Lou goes after number one. This Lou signs on for 5 more. This Lou shoots down the Irish and leaves John McLeod talking to himself. Gather around the set. You're lucky tonight. The Sports Channel report is next. And a very good evening to everyone. Welcome to a Thursday night edition of the Sports Channel Report. Along with Jim Blaney, I'm Steve Kashul. Blackhawks in search of a win against the LA Kings. They needed one, and it's looking good at the stadium.
You know what it is, Steve? It's those striped jerseys they wear sometimes in a row. That's got to be it, because the Blackhawks came into the stadium tonight and didn't even look like the same hockey team that lost 5 in a row on their recent road trip. The Hawks came in against the Kings tonight and played great from the opening faceoff and just cruised. 1:40 into the game, Brian Noonan, he's been hitting a lot of goalposts lately. He gets his own rebound and puts it in 1-0. The Blackhawks had the lead. About 5 minutes to go in the first period. Hawks in the power play. The puck is going to squirt out. Watch Wayne Gretzky. He tries to clear it. Fans. Keith Brown takes Gretzky out of the play. Over comes John Tonelli. Finds Brian Noonan again. Noonan's second goal of the game. Blackhawks led it 2-0. In the second period, Hawks up by 2 men. Keith Brown with a score from the point. Actually, it was tipped in by Brent Sutter for his 7th goal of the year. 3-0 Hawks. Later on, Charlie Huddy for the LA Kings is going to get the goal to put the Kings on the board. It was 3-1 at that point. Jeremy Roenick scores in the third period, and Brian Noonan has just scored an empty netter. It looks like the Blackhawks are going to win this one by a final score of 5-2. Noonan gets the hat trick. He now has goals 4, 5, and 6 on the season. The Hawks are going to snap their 5-game losing streak, and the Blackhawks also have now won, or are unbeaten, I should say, in their last 7 games at home. A big night for Brian Noonan. Very nice to see it, because he's been having a tough time getting that extra 1/4 of an inch or so to get the puck over and not hit the goalpost. Saturday night, we've got the Blackhawks back here on Sports Channel. Our evening starts off at 6 o'clock with center ice, and then at 6:30, the Blackhawks go into Long Island to play the New York Islanders. Should be an interesting game. It will be the first game for Brent Sutter as an opposing player at the Nassau County Coliseum. By the numbers, the Montreal Canadiens are among the top clubs this year in the NHL, but lately the Habs haven't been backing up their numbers on the ice. The Canadiens were shut out at home last night and carried a 4-game losing streak to Long Island tonight. But the Canadiens got off to a fast start. Mike McPhee finds Brent Gilchrist in the slot. Gilchrist finally finds the handle and bumps it past Steve Weeks to give Montreal a 1-0 lead. Montreal got a second goal in the first period to make it 2-0. Then, right before the intermission, Steve Thomas, the former Hawk, puts the Islanders on the board. It was 2-1 at the end of 1 period of play. In the second period, the Canadiens scored twice more. It looked like they had the game in hand, but then another former Hawk, Adam Creighton, comes up with a goal that cuts the Canadiens' lead down to 4-2. 11 seconds later, the Islanders got a goal to make it 4-3, and then later in the third period, Pierre Turgeon finds David Volek. That ties up the game at 4-4. Into overtime, off the faceoff, Richard Pilon makes a horrible mistake, gives it right to Sylvain Turgeon. Turgeon beats Glenn Healy, who came on in relief of Weeks. The Montreal Canadiens a winner over the New York Islanders tonight by a final score of 5-4. Snaps a 4-game losing streak for Montreal. Only 8,000 fans tonight on Long Island to see the Montreal Canadiens play the Islanders. Washington a winner over Philadelphia in Bill Dineen's debut as the Philadelphia Flyers head coach. One of Bill Dineen's players is his son, Kevin Dineen. It's only the 4th time in NHL history that a father and son have teamed up in a coach-player situation. The Flyers are struggling. They're winless in their last 8. Washington and Montreal now both have 38 points on the season. That leads the NHL. Quebec and Boston tie up at 2, and break up those Quebec Nordiques. They are unbeaten in their last 3 games. New Jersey a winner at home tonight. They are now 10-3 on the season at the Meadowlands, and Mario Lemieux has scored his 18th goal of the season. Pittsburgh out to an early lead on San Jose, but look at the Sharks, 3-0-1 in their last 4 games.
Red hot. Well, Notre Dame put to rest any rumors about Lou Holtz leaving as head man of the Irish and joining the Minnesota Vikings or any other NFL team. Today, Holtz signed a 5-year contract extension that will keep him in South Bend until the 1996 season. The 54-year-old Holtz is in his 6th season at Notre Dame, where he has compiled a record of 55-17. Holtz is currently on a recruiting trip and was not available for comment, although he did say a few weeks ago he had no intention of coaching anywhere else but Notre Dame. Obviously, the university has appreciated Holtz's dedication and today rewarded him with this new 5-year deal. And now Lou's got to go in to the Sugar Bowl and try to beat Florida. It's going to be tough.
What I want to know is, why would anybody expect any coach to leave what is probably the top football coaching job in America to inherit a mess in Minnesota? It just wouldn't make any sense for Lou to leave Notre Dame, at least not for the Minnesota Vikings.
And it helps recruiting, because that's where Lou was today. And, you know, he's got the bigger recruiting time right now. People want to know who's going to be the Notre Dame coach. Good thing Notre Dame got Lou. It helps Notre Dame's recruiting.
By the way, the Blackhawks have just scored again. They are now leading 6-2, the closing moments of the game at the stadium against the Kings. Between now and January 1st, Irish fans are thinking about basketball. Tonight, the Irish faced an invasion from troops south of the Ohio River. Details are coming up next.
Waving and raving, a Sunday night craving, high-fiving and crying, the coach is frying. It's Sunday night pig out, ESPN.
Pig Out, Sunday night NFL on ESPN.
America, let's pig out, ESPN.
If you're thinking luxury in a sedan, this new Buick Skylark offers features not found on competing imports, like 6-way power driver's seat, compact disc player, and remote keyless entry.
If you're thinking performance in a coupe, this new Buick Skylark Grand Sport offers features not found on competing imports, like a bigger engine, computer command suspension, plus anti-lock brakes are standard.
The all-new 1992 Buick Skylarks. Think twice before you buy anything else.
See your Better Buick dealer today.
Pardon me, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Presenting a way to make life a lot simpler. The Clapper. Turn on a lamp. Turn on the music. Turn off the TV. Use it anywhere you need a helping hand.
Simple.
Plug it in and insert the plug from just about anything.
Simple.
Clap on, clap off, clap on, clap off, the Clapper.
Give it a big hand.
The Clapper is available at Walgreens, Osco Drug, Woolworth, and Hook's Drug.
John McLeod had another chance tonight to post his first win as Notre Dame head basketball coach. The Irish, coming off losses against Butler and Indiana, played host to Louisville, a team which opened its season with a win over Howard on November 23rd. They hadn't played again until tonight. This one was all Notre Dame in the first half. Irish led by 7, 38-31 at the break. Second half, it turned into a two-man show. Everett Sullivan for Louisville here with a three-pointer, and Damon Sweet for Notre Dame. Both guys lit it up in the final 20 minutes. Notre Dame up 48-47 here. Sullivan for 3. Cardinals get the lead 50-48. Sweet comes back with a triple. Notre Dame goes ahead 51-50. A few minutes later, Sullivan hits another 3, puts Louisville up by 4. Back comes Damon Sweet. Great spin move in the lane. Pulls Notre Dame to within 2 at 61-59. A little later, Notre Dame trailed by 5. Sweet hits another 3 from the corner, puts the Irish within 2 at 72-70, but back comes Everett Sullivan. Answers with another tray. Denny's Crumb team up by 5. To the final 6 seconds, Notre Dame down by 3. You get the ball, number 22, right? Wrong. Damon Sweet never touched it. Elmer Bennett misses from 3. Louisville wins it 84-81. where was Damon Sweet on that last play? He wound up with 25 for the game, 21 in the second half. Everett Sullivan finished with 24. He, too, had 21 in the final stands. Notre Dame now 0-3 for John McLeod. Louisville 2-0. Other area college scores tonight, 13th ranked Utah beat Bradley by 24. Eastern Illinois beat Cal State Fullerton by 1. Butler, a big winner at home today over Illinois State. And Wisconsin won big over Central Connecticut State.
The ACC and the Big East are saving the best matchup for last in the final ACC Big East Challenge. Top-ranked Duke looks like they'll be holding on to their #1 ranking as they're handling 7th-ranked St. John's. Some of the highlights from the first half of this one played in Greensboro, so it's awfully tough for Lou to win, especially in an ugly sweater in North Carolina against Duke. 14-4, Duke jumped out to an early lead. Christian Leitner to Thomas Hill. Can he elevate or what? 16-4, Duke had the lead. Later on, Duke leading 20-8. Marty Clark with a really nice pass to Cherokee Parks for another dunk. 22-8, Duke had the lead. Christian Leitner likes what he sees in his heir apparent. Duke is rolling 83-72. They are late in the ballgame. It looks like Duke is on their way to a victory. Meanwhile, in the other ACC Big East Challenge game tonight, how about the Virginia Cavaliers? They win it by 10 over Georgetown. Virginia outscores Georgetown 13-3 in overtime. Bryant Stiff had 24 points. One of the reasons why the Big East ACC Challenge is dying, John Thompson of Georgetown doesn't like playing good teams early in the season. He'd rather play Hawaii low and Hawaii helo and pile up cheap victories than play legitimate teams like Virginia. And how about UNLV? A lot of people forgot about these guys because of the probation, but they're playing some good ball. They go all the way across the country today and beat the left-hander in his own backyard, 80-73. UNLV a winner over James Madison.
UNLV, Chark the Shark in his last year. UNLV beat LSU last week. That was incredible.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to be this good.
No, they're suddenly in the top 25. They could be a top 10 team. Of course, they can't be in the tournament this year, but who knows? They could be the best top 10 team not to be in the tournament for a long time.
They'll be sitting at home in March no matter what.
Yeah, I guess they deserve it though, right? Coming up next, a very special merchandise shop has just opened up featuring great socks apparel. We'll take a look at the Southsiders connection for great sock stuff. When we come back, stay with us.
The RCA projection screen is so big, you'll feel like part of the show when you watch the RCA home theater. It also has Dolby surround sound that's so real,
stand back, everyone.
You'll forget you're sitting at home.
Let me handle this.
The RCA home theater is just another way we're changing entertainment again.
Available at Highland. We got the best deals, period.
I got to tell you a quick story. When Johnny Most, who was a great announcer for the Boston Celtics, and he had this gravelly voice, and he would talk about now he's got to do the Yugoslavian game. All they have is numbers on their back. He has no idea who these guys are playing. The big guy with the mustache throws it to the guy with the yellow shorts. The guy with the yellow shorts moves it on over to the guy with the chain around his neck. And now Bird intercepts the ball. Bird down there, the big chief into the basket. McHale takes it out. Back to the guy with the green socks. I mean, it was hilarious.
The 1991-92 Northern Illinois women's basketball season explodes into high gear with a GTE Fast Break Fest. You'll see another powerful lineup hit the floor as teams from Kansas State, Purdue, and Miami of Ohio join Northern's Huskies in search of the championship. Action tips off with first-round games at 6 and 8 p.m. Friday, December 6th, and continues with the consolation and championship matchups the next night. For ticket information, call 1-800-332-HOWL. The 1991 GTE Fast Break Fest. Order your seats now.
Truck and van buyers. Visit Salozzi Edelson Chevrolet and Geo in Elmhurst. For a deal we guarantee you can't beat. For an example, you can't beat our price on this S10 pickup.
Or this 4-door S10 Blazer.
And this 7-passenger Lumina van.
Or this roomy Astro van.
Remember, we guarantee you can't beat our deal or we give you back the difference in cash.
At Salozzi Edelson Chevrolet and Geo in Elmhurst at York and Roosevelt Roads, where you always save more money.
The Hawks and Kings are done at the stadium. The end result is a 6-3 victory for the Chicago Blackhawks and a big night for Brian Noonan. A hat trick, goals 4, 5, or 6-2 the final, make that. Brian Noonan with goals 4, 5, and 6 on the season. His first hat trick of his career. In fact, this is the biggest day for a Noonan since Danny Noonan got that putt to beat Judge Smales and Dr. Beeper in Caddyshack. And an awful night for Kelly Rudy. He faces 51 shots on goal. He's faced 100 shots on goal in the last 2 games he's played for the LA Kings. Now let's talk about a little baseball. There was a unique opening of a special merchandise store today. The official White Sox gift shop to open their doors for the first time at Oak Brook Center, just in time for the holidays. Since the team came out with their silver and black uniforms in September of 1990, the uniforms and the colors have taken the country by storm. This new shop has the largest selection of White Sox merchandise available anywhere.
A couple years ago, Rob Gallus and Mike Busick were trying to determine marketing ways that they could change, I guess, the image and the perception of the Sox. And you can see the outcome. They have turned a team's product from a merchandise standpoint. They're the #1 selling baseball licensed product today.
After finishing 18th in 1990, it's really exploded, and this is just an extension of that. This is one of 12 stores operated nationwide by the Bradley Specialty Retailing Company, which in an agreement with Major League Baseball opens these sorts of clubhouse shops. They run some for the Oakland A's, for the Milwaukee Brewers, for the Mets, for the Yankees. It's also our store. We'll have old uniforms for sale here, broken bats for sale here, White Sox old Comiskey Park seats for sale here. We're going to have people here making appearances. Bo Jackson is going to make an appearance here, and players will be here from time to time too, so we'll take an active part in this store as well.
The White Sox merchandise is not only #1 in baseball, but it ranks right up there with the San Jose Sharks, LA Raiders, and San Francisco 49ers for sales of sports apparel by any team in pro sports. Bo Jackson, Robin Ventura, and Jack McDowell are among the Sox scheduled to appear at the first Sox Fest this coming January. Sox Fest will give fans a chance to meet some of the great White Sox of the past and present. The event will be held the final weekend in January at the Hyatt Regency Hotel.
Well, the world champion Chicago Bulls have taken the evening off. Tomorrow they should have no problem extending their current win streak to 14 games when the Charlotte Hornets come to town. The Bulls have beaten the Hornets 12 out of 13 games since Charlotte entered the league back in 1988. Last night, the world champs won a team record 13th in a row by beating Cleveland. Scottie Pippen played his best game of the season, recording a triple-double, 28 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists. All this after sitting at home on Tuesday and missing practice because he had the flu. Horace Grant also had a big night. He got the feed here from Bobby Hansen. Horace scored 22 points, hitting 9 of 11 shots. He also grabbed 10 rebounds as the Bulls, who led by 4 at the half, pulled away in the fourth quarter with a big run, and they put the game out of reach. John Paxson also found his shooting touch. Pax has not been on. He says he's not getting enough shots, but he got enough shots last night to pour in 13 points. One player didn't have the kind of numbers he would have liked was Michael Jordan. He only had 7 of 20 shots, 2-1 there, but there's 16 points. Michael also committed 7 turnovers, but he did have 9 rebounds, 9 assists. He is still nursing a sore back. Bulls won at 108-102, and they'll play in front of another standing room only crowd at the stadium tomorrow night as the Hornets come to town. We'll have it for you here on Sports Channel. Coverage begins at 7:30.
The Bulls' charge out of the starting gate is leaving the other teams in the Central Division competing for second place. Detroit and Cleveland are among the teams trying to chase the Bulls. The Pistons and Cavs were both coming off losses as they met tonight at the Palace, and Cleveland is playing some great basketball of late. But in the second quarter, Orlando Woolridge takes it in the hanging one-handed jumper. 36-31, the Cavs lead cut to 5. Later on, Cavs leading by 6. John Battle with the one-hander down the lane, 44-36 in favor of the Cavs. Next trip down, Danny Ferry nails the jumper. Cavaliers led by 10. And then right before halftime, Isaiah Thomas with a jumper from the side that cut the Cavaliers' lead back down to 11 points. Later on, Winston Bennett feeds Brad Doherty. He'll go in for the jam. Cleveland expands the lead up to 13. In the closing seconds of the half, Mark Price shoots. He's short. Well, the shot was short at least. Hot Rod Williams puts it in. 61-47, the Cavaliers led at the half. They go on to win it in Detroit tonight by a final score of 110-101. Mark Aguirre and Isaiah Thomas both had 21 points each for the Pistons. Meanwhile, the New Jersey Nets go into Milwaukee tonight and pick up a victory 109-101 in Frank Hamblin's debut as the Milwaukee Bucks head coach. Houston at home loses. They are now 2-5 with Akeem Olajuwon out of the lineup. And one other game going on tonight. It's on the West Coast. Golden State leading Dallas by 4. It is 49-45 in the second quarter.
Well, back to the Chicago Bulls. You know, that is one organization featuring a group of people who know how to achieve their goals. Case in point is the building of a world championship franchise. When they set their sights on doing something, they get it done. And Friday night, when the Bulls host the Hornets, Charitables will set their sights on helping the homeless of our great city. There are many other facets of the Chicago Bulls organization that the average fan doesn't see, one of which is the work Charitables does for the homeless of Chicago each year. Sarah Kelstone, who is the Bulls manager of community services, explained just what the Bulls fans are requested to do when they come to Chicago Stadium tomorrow night.
We're going to have our annual food drive this Friday night at Chicago Stadium when the Bulls play Charlotte. We'll have collectors stationed at every gate from 5:30 till about 8 p.m. and we're encouraging any fan who's coming to the game to bring a can and help the homeless during the holiday season. We're doing the food drive in conjunction with the mayor's office, their Sharing It program, and the Anti-Hunger Federation of Chicago. All of the food collected will go to a big sort of supermarket for shelters, and they come there and get food for the holidays. Any person who brings a canned good to Friday night's game will be able to sign up for a drawing that we will be picking a winner at halftime, and they'll win a street banner, one of the championship banners that hung on the streets of Chicago during the summer months, that's autographed by the entire Bulls team. So we'll draw from all the people who bring a can, and one person will be the lucky winner.
Again, that's for those of you fortunate to hold a ticket tomorrow night's game, bring a canned good with you. You may even win a prize.
That'll do it for another edition of the Sports Channel Report. We'll be back tomorrow night at 10:30 with another complete wrap-up of the day's sports news and scores.
Stay tuned for football forecast coming up next. For Jim Blaney, I'm Steve Kashul. For all of us here, thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Only $29.95. Become an Insiders member now.
Who joins these NFL fan clubs anyway?
I did, and I got a lifetime membership in my team's fan club, plus discounts on special merchandise for only $29.95.
$29.95?
Yeah, plus this exclusive membership kit with offers worth over $150.
How do I join?
Send $29.95, your name, address, and favorite team to Insiders, P.O. Box 9101, Oak Brook, Illinois 60522, or call 900-535-9000 for details. Become an insider of your favorite team now.
Gentlemen, in regard to a certain team known as the Bulls.
Only one coach shall lead his team to the crown, and that coach will have a certain mustache and square-shouldered physique, my friend.
And only one player will say he is going to Disney.
No problem. He's just having a heart attack.
Done?
Done. All right, now what was it you were saying?
The Bulls.
The Bulls.
December 13th, it's Miller Genuine Draft Mug Night. Be there.
December is heating up on Sports Channel. The Blackhawks continue their charge toward the Stanley Cup with 7 big games, including clashes against Norris division rivals Detroit, St. Louis, and Minnesota. Hoops fans won't miss a beat with the world champion Chicago Bulls as Sports Channel brings you 7 games, highlighted by contests against Los Angeles, New York, and Atlanta. Sports Channel is proud to be the exclusive network home for the NHL as we bring you key matchups from around the league. You won't want to miss the Sports Channel Report with Jim Blaney and Steve Kashul for a complete wrap-up of the Chicago sports scene Monday through Saturday at 10:30 and Sunday nights at 10. Plus, call
healthier, happier lives. But before you take prescription medication, have it filled at Hooks. Only Hooks has the new RX Watch system to screen your prescriptions for potential drug interactions, drug allergies, and for how your prescription might interact with your pre-identified health conditions. Plus, Hooks RX Watch has a 24-hour 800 number for emergencies. RX Watch. It's another reason to trust Hooks. Ask your pharmacist for details.
The French invented a better way to remove makeup, and nail polish too. De Makeup. 100% pure cotton pads. Strong, absorbent, the perfect size and shape. They don't tear like this, or lose their shape, or fluff up and go to waste. De Makeup pads cleanse perfectly, and they last. Change to the better way. De Makeup. You'll have no kick coming.
Available at these fine stores.
Hooks in the country. To my right, as always, sitting in that chair from the Executive Players Club, Tom Kennedy. Tom, how are you?
Great to be back, Carl.
All right, now a good call last week on San Diego.
Thanks very much, Carl. The San Diego Raider game went just as I expected it, a very low-scoring defensive struggle with the Chargers keeping it close. This week we've got some great information from the Executive Players Club, so stick around.
All right, Tom, now seated next to Tom from Line Masters, the coach, Ron Bash. Coach, welcome, and how's the weather down in Florida?
Well, between 75 and 80, and my contacts and sources tell me you're going to be making a trip to the Sunshine State.
Very soon, yes. Now you continue to pull off the upsets.
Well, 2 weeks ago I gave you Dallas over Washington and Pittsburgh over Houston, and we followed it up last week with Kansas City over Seattle. And we've got some excellent selections on today's show as well.
All right, Coach, and last but not least from Tony Smith Sports, A.J. Benza. A.J., how are you?
Very good. Call yourself?
Very good. Now, a lot of noise being made about Tony Smith's Game of the Year. What can you tell us about it?
Well, first of all, anybody who's called Tony's 900 number all season knows he's 11-3 in the calling games. That's better than 82%. 3 weeks ago, Dallas over Washington. 2 weeks ago, Atlanta over New Orleans. And, of course, last week, Green Bay over Atlanta. Week 15 is his Game of the Year. You're going to want to stick around and get that. We're going to have it later on. Stick around.
All right, and as you say, stick around. When we come back following this timeout, we'll take a look at our first game. San Diego visits Kansas City. Stay with us.
Long considered one of the nation's leading sources for sports information, John Vai, the king of the sports analysts, is having another blockbuster season. Call right now to get John Vai's 3 top-rated selections absolutely free. So don't delay. Call John Vai now and get your first 3 top-rated selections absolutely free. Become part of John Vai's championship team, and you can enjoy a blockbuster season of your own.
Attention serious football fans. When you really need to know the scores, there's only one number to call. Scores America. For the sports fan who wants up-to-the-minute accuracy, there is no better source than Scores America. We have the fastest updates in the country. All our scores are updated every 5 minutes, so you're assured of getting the most accurate information available. Whether you're based in the East or the West or anywhere in between, there's a Scores America phone number just for you.
Call now for the latest scores and receive your free Scores America sports schedule.
Studying sports columns, computerized stats, trends, and charts amounts to little more than flipping a coin or playing a hunch. Now eliminate all those endless hours of work. There's only one source of information that's going to be a big success for you this football season. Call Paul Nolan's Final Score. Stop wasting your precious time. Call the number you see on your screen now and get your first week of top selections absolutely free. Call now, 1-800-666-4WINS. When it comes to sports knowledge, the only thing that counts is the final score.
Welcome back to Football Forecast. Time to take a look at our first game, San Diego with Kansas City. And Tom, the Chiefs in a heated battle in the AFC West with Denver and the Raiders. How do you see this one?
This one looks pretty clear-cut to the Executive Players Club call. The last time these teams met was at Jack Murphy Stadium on September 29th, with Kansas City winning a close one 14-13. That will not be the case, however, this Sunday, as the Chiefs are playing their last regular season game at Arrowhead Stadium. At home, the Chiefs are 5-2 while outscoring their opponents 163-91. And that translates to allowing 13 points per game. The Chiefs are getting great defense, and it'll be a tough game for San Diego to win. They might not even find the end zone Sunday. Trust me on this one, Kansas City rolls big time.
All right, Tom. Now, Coach, you were the only one to pick Kansas City over Seattle last week. Do you go with the Chiefs again here?
Make it 2 in a row. San Diego had won 5 in a row against Kansas City prior to last year. Now the Chiefs have won 3 in a row and need this game very badly. Last week, I was the only one on this show to select Kansas City in their upset win over Seattle by 19-6. When the going got tough last week in Seattle, the tough Kansas City team got going. Returning to Arrowhead with that momentum spells big trouble for the troubled Chargers. Chiefs put the final nail in Coach Dan Henning's coffin and tomahawked the Chargers by double digits in an easy romp.
All right, A.J., Chargers, Chiefs, Kansas City a bit banged up, but did they get back on track here?
Absolutely, Carl. Now that the Chiefs have finally shaken the Seattle Seahawks off their backs, in the hunt for an AFC wildcard spot. Look for them to be more relaxed and focused against a slumping San Diego squad. One of the keys here will be how many yards the Chargers defense allows to Kansas City's infamous ground game. If they gave up 161 to the Raiders last week, you can be sure they'll give up a bundle to Word and Williams. I've got a feeling old man Steve DeBerg will dust the cobwebs off his arm this week and see that plenty of his wideouts are wide open. Chiefs win this one easily, Carl.
All right, now when we come back to football forecast, take a look at our next two games. The Saints visiting Dallas, Buffalo taking on the Raiders. Stay with us. When it comes to football, Sports Plus Network is the only game in town. Sports Plus Network is an online sports network featuring the most current, updated sports information available anywhere. Our network brings you the vital information you need to be successful via a new late telephone service. At Sports Plus Network, we are so confident that we'll release our Game of the Month absolutely free. So call our toll-free number right now and see why Sports Plus Network is the smart choice.
Make sure your football season stays on the right track with the Win Hotline. The Win Hotline is your ticket to a successful football season. Don't get railroaded with other people's opinions. Call the Win Hotline and you'll get all the latest information from the sharpest sports analysts in the country. Our lines are sizzling with top-rated selections. Don't get left behind. Get on the right line. The Win Hotline. Call now and get your top-rated selections.
Long considered one of the nation's leading sources for sports information, John Vai, the king of the sports analysts, is having another blockbuster season. Call right now to get John Vai's 3 top-rated selections absolutely free. So don't delay. Call John Vai now and get your first 3 top-rated selections absolutely free. Become part of John Vai's championship team, and you can enjoy a blockbuster season of your own.
Our next game, New Orleans at Dallas. Tom, the Saints experienced some problems of late. Did they turn it around in Dallas?
I don't think so, Carl. The Saints, you know, they started the season at 7-0. Now they've lost their last 4 of 6, including their last 3 in a row. This is a classic case of a team peaking too early in the season. Dallas, on the other hand, have won their last 2 straight. This is a team peaking at the right time of the year. Are the Cowboys real contenders, you ask yourself? Just ask the NFL's best team, the Washington Redskins, who found out the hard way 2 weeks ago. Let's talk about personnel. Berline has filled in excellently. Wide receiver Michael Irvin is the first to crack 1,000 yards receiving this year. And keep a watchful eye on wide receiver number 80 Tennessee product Alvin Harper. He fits in with this offense perfectly. Defensively, the fierce pass rush of Tony Casillas, number 1 pick Russell Maryland. Linebackers Kenny Norton Jr. and Jack Del Rio spell doom for the Saints on Sunday. Johnson's boys hand the Saints their 4th straight loss in a row with a 10-point victory.
All right, Ron, what's happened to the Saints? Is Bobby Hebert that important as their quarterback?
Well, I think that's a real astute observation, Carl. The Saints have lost 3 in a row with Steve Walsh as their quarterback, and who knows Steve any better than his old coach, Jimmy Johnson? The extra time off will aid the boys in preparing for the road-weary Saints, who have begun to question their ultra-conservative coach, Jim Mora. Without the 3 H's, Hebert, Hayward, and Hilliard, the Saints have fallen flat on their fannies. If I picked Dallas over Washington in Washington 2 weeks ago, I certainly must pick the Cowboys at home over the Saints. This low-scoring game will result in a big victory for the Cowboys by a touchdown as the Saints go marching back to the blackboard in search for answers to their 4th consecutive loss in a row.
All right, Coach AJ, you're up next, and a surprise for our viewers.
That's right, Carl. I have big news for all viewers of Football Forecast, and no, it's not that 10 of Tony's last 12 calling games have won at an 83% average. The big news is that this week, Tony Smith is releasing his Pro Game of the Year, his strongest selection for the 1991 NFL season. Tony's had his game circled on his calendar since the NFL season started, and now it can be yours just by picking up the phone and dialing 1-900-454-8999. You're catching Tony at a great time. He's red hot on his big plays. He's having a great NFL year, and he's ready to explode with his Pro Game of the Year. Just pick up the phone and dial 1-900-454-8999 and receive Tony's highest-rated pro selection of the year. And to show you how confident Tony really feels about this game, he will supply you with the rest of the NFL season absolutely free if his NFL Game of the Year does not win. So pick up the phone now and dial 1-900-454-8999 and receive Tony Smith's NFL Game of the Year. Call right now and you'll also receive Tony's top-rated selections in college or pro football and college or pro basketball. That's 1-900-454-8999.
All right, AJ, we move on. Buffalo at the Raiders. Tom, Bills just clinched the AFC East last week with a win over the Jets. Will they have a letdown here?
I don't think so, Carl. We're going to go with Buffalo here. The Bills will come out on Sunday firing on all cylinders for this one because they are in a heated contest with the Houston Oilers for home field advantage throughout the playoffs. In my opinion, this is the best contest of the day. When you make analysis on NFL games, you usually look at skilled positions. At quarterback, there is an enormous mismatch here. Give me Kelly over Schrader any day of the week. Kelly's numbers are awesome, 3,300 yards passing with 28 TDs. Those are all pro numbers, fans. Thurman Thomas is also very dangerous as a receiver and a rusher. He's got 1,300-plus yards already this year. Defensively, Big Bruce is back, plus Bennett, Conlon, and Talley will give poor Jay Schrader fits all day Sunday. The Bills stay hungry for a big edge and home field advantage with a convincing double-digit win.
All right, AJ, do you agree or disagree with Tom?
Wholeheartedly agree with Tom this week. You know, the movement has begun. It's become extremely fashionable once again to be a Raiders fan. Just go to any street corner in L.A. this week and watch the trendy people jumping on the silver and black bandwagon. Not too long ago, the thing to do was to adopt a liking for the Kings or Lakers. Now the people are following Art Shell's Bad Boys, who have won 4 straight games and 6 of the last 7. But I like the Bills in this spot quite a bit, and last Sunday told me the tale. I can't like a team that struggled with San Diego and only managed 3 field goals. Jay Schrader is back to his old form, tossing 3 interceptions last week. And how can the Raiders allow the Chargers 12 first downs? Imagine what Kelly and his receiving corps will do. This is the time of year when Jim Kelly pushes his troops. He's got the game's best all-purpose back in Thurman Thomas, a bunch of the finest receivers, and Big Bad Bruce Smith is back to toss a hurting on someone. Look for the Bills to win big here and give the Raiders an embarrassing time at the Coliseum, Carl.
All right, AJ. Now, Coach, last week your call-in viewers got Kansas City's upset win over Seattle. That makes 3 in a row without a loss. Can you make it 4 straight?
Yeah, Carl, you know what my record is. You've watched me on national TV for many years. Why does the viewing public continue to flood our telephone lines with their calls? Nobody's forcing them to call. Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. Over the last 3 weeks, my call-in viewers have not lost a game, and that includes being the only one on this show to pick Kansas City's upset over Seattle 19-6 last week as our AFC Game of the Month. My record speaks for itself. Need I say any more? Let this Bills-Raiders game continue your December to remember. Call me now at 1-800-279-7700. This game is absolutely free to all callers. Don't stall. Make the call. Let the Dean of Selections give you the extra edge you seek. Pick up the phone and call me now at 1-800-279-7700. It will make your day.
All right, Coach, thanks very much. When we return on Football Forecast, take a look at our next game. Minnesota visiting Tampa Bay, and the Monday night affair, Cincinnati going down to play the Dolphins in Miami. Stay with us. Cincinnati going down on Next up, Minnesota visiting Tampa Bay. And, Coach, you've made it clear that Jerry Burns is not one of your favorite coaches, but can he lose to the Bucs?
Well, I'm starting to put Jerry Burns in a class with Ray Hanley, and it's going to be very tight toward the end of the year. The Bucs have not had a winning record for the last 10 years, and their future remains bleak. Hugh Culverhouse, get it over with. Give Bill Parcells the money and control he seeks so you can begin to rebuild this travesty of a franchise. Or you could hire Jerry Burns as your coach and be guaranteed the #1 draft choice every single year he coaches. Despite Jerry Burns and his underachieving Vikings, there's no way Tampa Bay will win another game this year. Burns can't motivate this Viking team, but their talent alone should be enough to beat up on this Bay of Pigs. The Bucs should return some bucks to their season ticket holders who were forced to watch the weekly foibles of the worst team in the NFL. Even the Vikings can win a game outdoors by 2 TDs over this pathetic Buck team.
Ouch. AJ, Minnesota-Tampa Bay, not exactly what you'd call a marquee game.
A lot of hatred in Coach's voice this week, huh?
So, yes.
Well, I'm calling this one the Insomniac Special. If you're having trouble sleeping next Sunday night, you might want to tune into this one and watch the Vikes and Bucks play out the string. Then again, you might want to watch some paint peel. That's just about as exciting. Seriously, though, somebody has to win this game, and I think the Buccaneers will respond with one of their biggest efforts of the year and send the Vikes deeper into their season-long slump. A couple of the reasons are Vinny Testaverde and Reggie Cobb. Hinging your hopes on Testaverde is always a crapshoot, but I think the Long Island boy can exploit the Vikings' generous secondary this week. I also think Cobb can run through and around anyone who's in his way. This guy's playing possessed lately. All he needed was for a coach to give him the ball and pat him on the back. He'll run through a wall for Perkins, so stepping through Minnesota's front four will be no problem at all. Look for the Vikings' trouble to continue, and I promise you the outcome will be decided long before you doze off on Sunday.
All right, AJ, thanks very much. Now, Tom, this is the Executive Players Club call-in game.
That's correct. It's very simple. All the viewers have to do is pick up the phone and dial the toll-free number that's on the screen right now. It's 1-800-825-7529. It's that easy. When you dial that number, it will put you in touch with the hottest sports service in the country. Thousands of football forecast viewers have already done so and are extremely glad they did. Now it's your turn. It's week number 15, and it's not too late. Dial my office and receive the information on the Vikings-Buccaneers contest absolutely free. Will Minnesota be able to keep the Tampa Bay Air Machine in check, or will the Buccaneers be able to stop the Vikings' ground game? Will this contest be totally offensive, or will it be a hard-fought defensive struggle? The Executive Players Club and myself will have all the answers for you. Don't wait until Sunday night to get the information. Call right now and learn how to take advantage of excellent information before it's too late. The number again is 1-800-825-7529. Be sure to dial that number. I've got something excellent on this contest for you.
All right, Tom. Now, Coach, we move on to Monday night. Cincinnati at Miami in your backyard. You're the only guy on the show to win the last two Monday nights. Can you turn the hat trick?
Why not, Carl? Why is my 900 number one of the most popular 900 numbers in the country? Is it the fact that over the last 6 weeks I've only had one losing week on this show? Is it the fact I'm the only one on this show to win the last two Monday night games? Is it the fact that I called the startling upset wins by Dallas over Washington and Pittsburgh over Houston 2 weeks ago, and the upset of Kansas City over Seattle last week? My outstanding record speaks for itself. Need I say any more? What's your record been this year? Don't stall. Make the call. 1-900-288-7666. One call gets it all. Make it a December to remember. Call me now at 1-900-288-7666. It's the only number you'll ever need.
All right, Coach. AJ, Cincinnati at Miami. How do you see it?
Well, here we go again, Carl. The public starts their hair-pulling and nail-biting right up until game time while Tony Smith is relaxing and confident about his Monday night pick. Tony has statistical information not known to the general public, and you can receive it just by picking up the phone and dialing 1-900-454-8999. Let Tony put you and his loyal followers in the driver's seat with his top-rated selection on this Monday night mismatch. But that's not all you'll get. Tony also releases college and pro basketball selections every night and key matchups in the NFL. So call now at 1-900-454-8999 and follow the man who has 20 years experience as a sports analyst. It's a total package of sports selections 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's 1-900-454-8999, and you won't be sorry.
All right, AJ, thanks very much. Now, Tom, does Cincinnati's momentum continue here against Miami after last week's big win against the Giants?
It's a very strong possibility, Carl. You know, this contest may look easy on paper, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes that the general public is not aware of. Without having the correct information on this contest, you would be merely guessing on the outcome. As the chief sports analyst of the Executive Players Club, I strongly urge you to dial my 900 hotline for not only the selection on this Bengal-Dolphin contest, but also for key NFL selections on Sunday, as well as college and pro basketball selections during the week. The Executive Players Club 900 hotline continues to be on fire. From week number 4 to week number 13, we have a 7-3 record on Monday night, and that translates to 70%. Are you hitting 70% on Monday night? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the hotline is updated with excellent information for you. Be sure to call every chance you get. 5 top-rated selections from the nation's premier 900 sports line. It doesn't get any better than that. Be sure to call. The number is 1-900-933-7654.
All right, gentlemen, still to come on Football Forecast, the firing line, and our Take 5 segment. Stay with us. When it comes to football, Sports Plus Network is the only game in town. Sports Plus Network is an online sports network featuring the most current, updated sports information available anywhere. Our network brings you the vital information you need to be successful via a new late telephone service. At Sports Plus Network, we are so confident that we'll release our Game of the Month absolutely free. So call our toll-free number right now and see why Sports Plus Network is the smart choice.
You've seen me on many national TV shows as I've demonstrated to the viewing public that my record speaks for itself. As a former head college basketball coach in Division III, I've taken 2 different teams to the NCAA Final Four and have coached Jerome Kersey of the Portland Trailblazers. I have maintained the contacts and sources necessary to produce top selections for you. Don't stall. Make the call. 1-900-288-7666. It's the only number you'll ever need.
You know why I lost all this weight? So I can really enjoy my beautiful new resorts, like the elegant and delicious Le Palais. Capriccio's pasta is better than anything in Rome. Ooh. My Beverly Hills buffet is the best value in town. A little dessert. Gotta see our show.
A seat for one, Mr. G?
Oh, better make it 2. I'll start the diet Monday.
Bet on Murph. You've got to come out to resorts.
Time for the firing line game, the Jets at Detroit. And Tom, I get the feeling that even though the Jets lost at Buffalo last week, you might take them here against Detroit.
You got that right, Carl. You know, Detroit is in a hard-fought battle for the division title in the Central against Chicago, and they need this game really, really bad. But let's not forget about the New York Jets. Bruce Koslet's got this team really turned around, and yes, they have kept every single game close. I like the Jets here. More importantly, though, I want you to call my office right now at 1-800-825-7529. I'm releasing my NFC Game of the Month. That's the Bucs and the Vikings. I've got some great information. Don't miss out on this one. Call me right now at 1-800-825-7529.
All right, Tom. Now, Coach, you continue to pull off the upsets week after week. Do we see another one here?
No way, Jose. 2 weeks ago, I picked the Cowboys over the Redskins and Pittsburgh over Houston. Last week, I gave you the upset at KC over Seattle, but there's no upsets here. Barry Sanders can beat this Jet team all by himself. But more important, get another one of my hot call-in selections absolutely free. Call me now for my December to Remember Game of the Month between the Bills and the Raiders. 1-800-279-7700. Don't stall. Make the call now.
All right, Coach, AJ, you're up next, and I know you're not a Jets fan, so I assume you take Detroit here.
I like Detroit all the way. You know, no team needs 10 days to prepare for the Jets, especially the Lions, more specifically the Lions at the Silverdome. These guys could beat the Jets on 10 minutes' notice. Watch for Kenny O'Brien, the Detroit frontman Jerry Bull, to get on intimate terms all afternoon, and Barry Sanders to high-step his way to a 150-yard day. Detroit big time here. But more, make sure you call Tony Smith for his call-in game of the year. The number is 1-900-454-8999. You all know Tony Smith is 11-3 on the call-in games this year, and anybody who's been calling us knows his last 3 games featured Green Bay over Atlanta, Atlanta over New Orleans, and Dallas over Washington. Very impressive picks. There really isn't another man you should consult in this game other than Tony Smith, the man who knows the pros. Beginning tonight through Sunday, we'll release news on the game as well as other football and basketball selections. At 11-3, it really is a phone call you should make right now. Don't wait any longer. That's 1-900-454-8999.
All right, AJ, thanks very much. It's now time for our Take 5 segment, and this week Jim Clack visits with former L.A. Rams running back Dick Bass. Jim?
Thank you. Take 5's on the road again. I tracked down Dick Bass in the sunny Southern California. We're out here in Los Angeles. Dick, it's good seeing you. Glad to have you on the show.
Well, thank you very much, Jim. It's a pleasure being here.
A lot of people don't know it. Dick was drafted as a junior, one of the first people ever drafted as a junior in college football to play professional football. Now you're seeing it going on quite a bit, Dick. How did you feel about it back then?
Well, first of all, I thought education was #1. Even though I was drafted as a junior,